winter camping. So here's a question for everyone here. What happens if large volumes of freezing air is pumped across your nose while you're asleep? You wake up pondering the foreshadowing of covering frostbite with your scouts the week before. That's what happens. Wow. Actually, Klondike was the very first time I ever took a CPAP camping with me. I was quite proud of myself. I got it all set up. I was going to have a nice quiet night to sleep. Scouts wouldn't be disturbed, and I got everything hooked up. I fell asleep. I woke up. Oh my God. I thought I had frostbite on my nose. I was in pain. It hurt really bad. So I'm scrambling, trying to find hand warmers to warm up my nose, and I'm contemplating what went wrong. And I'm searching again. There's no information out there. Very little. And I'm trying to figure out winter camping CPAP. And I finally found one blog post from like 2002, and someone had made a reference in there. So a lot of this has been learned trial and error. How can I take my CPAP camping in the winter? I don't want this just to be a 2-season or a 3-season thing. I want to camp year round with it without risking frostbite like I did that first year. So here's a couple strategies I have found for dealing with this. So the first one, I just call it the shirt tuck. I'm going to take the hose, and I found, especially if you roll around, if you're uncomfortable on the ground and you're rolling around at all, that hose can work out. I'm trying to heat up that air using some body heat, so I thread it down the side of the sleeping bag, and then on the way up, I put it under my shirt, so that way it's trapped in there. During the week, I see someone going, yep, did this. Yep, it works. It works pretty good. You're using your own body heat to heat up that hose, and the air in it, it will take the chill off. Now, it's simple. It works in cold weather. The cons, doesn't work well in freezing weather. If it gets really cold as it does here in the upper Midwest, there's just not enough heat. That air is so cold, it's still going to come through really, really cold. So that from there, and we had some bitter cold Klondikes where we're talking, -5, -10 degrees, and we're camping in them. I had to come up with a more efficient way of doing it, and I used what I already covered that tip. I call this method the Dutch oven. We're going to put the CPAP right down in the bottom of our sleeping bag. We're going to run the hose all the way up through to it. We're going to be drawing our air from inside our sleeping bag. All of that air has been already heated by our body. We are burning some extra calories here because we got to heat where we are bringing air in. But with a good sleeping bag, warm sleeping bag, I've had no problem using this method even in freezing temperatures. So the pros, it will work in freezing conditions. The cons, your feet, you can kick, if you move your feet around too much, you kick off the power or you turn it off. And then you got to get up and you're struggling trying to get everything hooked back up. It's not fun. I've done that too. So the tip, wear socks because that plastic is going to be cold. 2, be careful what you eat. That's why it's called the Dutch oven. My father, I got to give a shout out to my father. Again, he was a scoutmaster for 40 years. He always said, all right, at bedtime, he'd always say, all right, boys, time to hit the fart sack. That's what he never called them sleeping bags. He called them fart sacks. And so, yeah, but it got me through some really cold Klondikes. So that's the next method. Now, the next method is under development. With the pandemic and the restrictions, we didn't. Our Klondike was a day event. They didn't have you camping. They had us show up for that day. So we didn't have a camp out this year scheduled in there. We had our November 1. Our troop did. It wasn't really that cold, but Klondike, I was ready to do the new one. I call the new method the Omaha heater. Whoops, let me go back. All right, the Omaha heater. It's named that because I use a styrofoam, the really dense, heavy-duty styrofoam coolers from like Omaha Steaks. That's why I call it the Omaha heater. The really heavy-duty, thick ones that are meant for like shipping food. Now, like Gold Belly Food Service, some companies shipping the really heavy-duty ones. You want to find one of those. The styrofoam cooler that you buy at the gas station that breaks when you put the ice in it, not worth your time. Get the heavy duty one. And so I'm working on this one. You can see the picture of it. I got the power cord running out a hole, got the hose, and I took the lid off. Inside, to maximize the amount of volume I could get in there, I got rectangular Nalgene bottles from Amazon. I think those are 500 milliliter volume ones. And the idea is we're going to heat up water before bedtime, get it just up near boiling, and we're going to put hot water in those containers. Water controls a lot of heat energy. This idea actually comes from ultralight backpackers will camp in weather where they know their gear is not warm enough, but they've opted for, instead of carrying heavier, warmer gear, they're going to carry lighter gear. And what they'll do is they will boil water before they go to bed, pour it in an Nalgene bottle, screw it shut, and put that in their sleeping bag as a heater. And they will use that during the night to keep them warm. So I was reading about this and I was like, you know what? That would be a great idea. Heat up, create a heater inside this cooler. Now the cooler's keeping the cold air out. You still need plenty of air to come in to supply, but as that air is coming in, you're going to have the heat here. And you can see I also put the hose around those bottles to try and grab some extra heat on the way out to me. Now, the one thing that I don't have pictured here is my wife sewed a fleece sleeve for this hose that extends outside to minimize heat loss coming out, because I'm going to try and capture all the heat I can inside this system. Again, this is my beta model. I am convinced this is going to work. But I haven't tested it yet. So I will qualify that, but using the heat from that water rather than my body heat, I think we can get it up much hotter, keep it much warmer, and it'll be a little more convenient than unplugging it with my feet and kicking it, that sort of thing. So I'll have that right up next to me. So that's going to be the next evolution that I want to do with winter camping with my CPAP. All right. The next one that the downside, again, you need to boil water. Oh, and I already talked about the fleece sleeve. Put that on. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you gained some insight into how to camp with your CPAP and enjoy the great outdoors and get a great night's sleep. If you want some more information, here's a couple things you can do. You can start by joining us over on Facebook. We created a community called the CPAP Camping Information Exchange, where we're trying to harness the collective knowledge of the CPAP camping community and share that with each other. Many of us have been trying to do this all on our own and with some success, but we're stronger together. So join us over at the CPAP Camping Information Exchange on Facebook. Now, there are a couple more videos you could watch. I've linked those over here. There's a playlist with our videos, so you can go there. And if you like this kind of content and some other variety of content, we're going to be creating a channel that you can subscribe to here. The How About This channel is going to be dedicated to country living product reviews, projects, some scouting tips and tricks, cooking on the campfire in the actual fire. Let's go back to some old school style cooking. So there's just going to be a variety there, and we're going to let the community kind of help direct which way that channel goes by their requests and feedback. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, join us over on Facebook. Thanks again.